Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we're here to do a new release from 1967. It's a Japanese noir film called Branded to Kill by, I'm going to butcher the, Seijon Suzuki. Suzuki is correct.
Yeah.
So this movie is a surrealistic, absurdist, psychosexual, pseudo-slapstick Japanese noir film that's apparently a satire. The more you watch it, the more you're like, okay.
Sure.
It's a lot of things.
That sounds a lot like somebody really trying hard to slot it into a genre, and they just had to put them all in there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this movie is. I was not expecting this movie to be the way it is. I thought it was going to be like a Japanese, like a noir film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was going to be like lots of like kind of like weird stuff that when you first watch, you're like, is this supposed to be funny? Like when the guy's like on fire and he's just running,
yeah,
and you're just like, is this supposed to be funny? Turns out it's to your discretion. It's
whatever you want.
Yeah. Is there a reason why he's dialing a rotary phone with his foot?
He's kind of weird.
He is.
He's got a fetish about boiled rice.
Yes. Hanada, who's played by Joe Shishida.
Yeah. Number 3.
He is Hitman number 3.
Yeah.
He is not really the best hero or protagonist. He's
not the worst either.
He's not the worst. He's very kind of controlling.
Yeah.
Very abusive. Arrogant. He has a weird obsession / kink with steamed rice.
Yeah, the fetish for boiled rice.
Yeah, it's something.
Yes, it's something.
It's definitely something.
There's a lot of it. There's something like with all of it.
The movie is like in the beginning. It's like a normal like kind of weird. It's like a weirdly shot noir film.
Kind of. Yeah.
But then in the middle, it's like this weird surrealistic kind of like dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the second act. Yeah.
Yes. Psychosexual kind of like.
So you're talking about when he returns to his wife, and then
where he meets Misaka, I think her name was. I wrote it down.
Yeah,
Anu Mari played Misaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he goes to her house of butterflies and dead moths or whatever.
Yeah.
To the wife and stuff like that, to where it's just like weird. And then the third act of the movie is like a weird hitman odd couple slapstick.
I love this movie, dude. This is a really fun movie.
Yes, it was. I didn't know what to get into, but once it started going, and it's just like, what?
I absolutely love almost everything about it, because it's so weird and funny enough, extremely influential on like so many things.
Yes.
And you're just like, what?
This?
You're like, but like you see like the different things, and you'll see like the Hitman ranking system, and you think like, oh yeah, that seems rather familiar. And then like the way Hanada looks, you're like, yeah, that kind of looks like a few different people that I've seen before.
There's like cool kills with it, like the gunshot through the piping.
Through the pipe. Yeah, that's such a
Or you could just walk into the bathroom and shoot him. Nah, just do it pipe.
That is one of the most iconic ones, and I think it was copied in another movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what movie it was.
I can't remember either, but it was somebody shooting through the pipe up through the sink.
Yeah, there's also the
Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog. Funny, Jim Jarmusch.
Because I did some research. Suzuki is credited in the credits.
Yeah, he wholesale lifted. He wholesale lifted that kill.
Yes.
I
knew it was familiar.
I know, same. It took me a minute. I didn't think of it until right now. But it's so unique and weird, and like there's times where it like does look like a old school like 40s, 50s dark noir, and
like he shot that one guy. It was like the trains. It was like it was through a sniper scope. That was pretty cool.
There's like just the shots with the car, like when they're driving and they do that like spin and he gets out and he's ready to shoot,
and then it cuts to like some weird like these kids driving to the beach, like banging on the door.
It's so crazy. And like, I don't know, man, there was very little I didn't like. I mean, say what you will, I mean, the protagonist isn't a very kind person.
I think it's kind of like, they say it's a satire on like the James Bond films, where James Bond is not really supposed to be liked. I heard that someone pointed out that like the steamed bowl of rice is like his martini on the rocks.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just such a...
And also, the pacing is great. It just literally, like, when we get to like when the Misaka's at his house, offering the job, that's exactly the 30-minute mark. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's been 30 minutes?
Yeah, and it's so... I hate using... It's such a generic term, but it's just a weird movie that you're just kind of on board for.
Like, slight spoilers, I'm not going to say what happens at the end, but like, there's the idea who's number one, who's number one. Number one does show up.
Yeah.
And when they're napping in the bed, because they have an agreement, like, you know, we're going to do like a duel or whatever, but they can't keep each other out of their sight. So they literally sleep in the same bed.
Yeah.
They go to the bathroom together. Like, it's
they answer the door.
Yeah, it's like so odd couple.
Yeah.
That it's like...
Yeah, because that's the whole thing, is there's a myth. So we have the Hitman rankings. He's third, and he's on his job, and they run into ranked 4 and ranked 2. And the one guy who's helping him with the job is like... they talk about rumors about number 1, who's ranked number 1, and he's like, number 1's a myth. And so that's kind of your tie-in for what happens later. But like, I don't know, man. It's
and also tie in the wife that is always naked.
Yeah.
For some reason, she is always naked.
Yeah.
And there was that weird shot where, like, I guess they're having intercourse, but like she's in the bathtub and he's facing the opposite direction, and they're not doing anything. And she's like, "We're beasts, we're beasts." I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's such a... Like, there's so many moments that are just kind of off kilter.
Like when he's meeting for, like, he knows he's going to have to that 5 assassins are going to kill him after he gets the phone call, after the Misaka gets a really cool shot where, like, they have the shot of Misaka, like, it's like a projector.
Yeah. Like,
that's a really cool shot. Where, like, he's hiding underneath the car while they're shooting, but for some reason the car is just going extremely slow.
Well, no, so...
and then he gets in the car and drives someone over. It was hilarious.
So the car scene where it's going really slow, what he does is he ties a rope to the bumper, and it's around like a lever point, and he's pulling the car and crawling underneath.
No, I think it's funny because it's just like they kept on that shot for so long. It's almost comical.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah,
and there's so many, like, this movie has so many really interesting ideas. With, like, the hitman kills, with the different scenarios he ends up in, and, like, all of the shots are really cool. Like, just something as simple, like, they just make everything so interesting, where it's, like, something simple, like, him leaning against a wall. Remember, he's talking to Misako, and she's, like, 40 feet behind him, like, up the steps.
Yeah.
And he's on the other side of the wall, and they're having a normal conversation, but, like, the way he's posed, like, leaning against the wall, like, super cool.
Yeah.
And you're just like, there's
Literally,
no need
he's weirdo. He's a weirdo.
Well, there's no need for it, but, like, at the same time, it's like, it just brings a visual interest.
Yeah.
Like, every single thing in the movie is interesting to see.
Yeah.
And that is something so hard to do. And Suzuki does it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how nonsensical certain parts are or certain parts of the plot are. A lot of ideas are really cool, and it is kind of a grab bag, but, like, keeps it visually interesting the entire time, and keeps everything going, keeps moving forward, keeps keeping things like really interesting to look at. Like, just like I said, simply leaning against a wall.
It's very, and also the shots with Misako is
they're real striking. A lot,
striking, haunting, surrealistic.
Yeah,
like the shot where it's just closing in on her.
Yeah,
so good.
And it's just like these really weird things. Like, I couldn't justify some of them outside of looks cool. It's the rule of cool movie.
There's a lot of weird things happening in the movie, but you're never really, you're kind of lost. But you're not lost in the general plot. You're kind of lost on, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
But, like, you never get lost in the movie at all.
Yeah, and one of the like, having Misako with her theme of being obsessed with death, her obsession with her own death.
She has, like,
and then all of the bug collection.
Yeah, dead moths and stuff
and
like that.
It's just like her delighting in her own weirdness. And he's like, yo, you're weird. And she's like, yeah, well, what are you going to do?
And then, I mean, it's just, I can't sing the praise of this movie enough. Like, I was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while. It had been kind of on my list to watch for a long time.
And it's on the Criterion channel, I'll just say now.
Yes.
It's also available on Blu-ray and DVD, but if you want to watch it...
Yeah, I think this is...
free-ish because you have a subscription. Criterion channel.
Yeah, I think this is a new re-release because I remember reading about this movie before and really wanting to watch it. This is not anything I would have expected. I thought it was going to be much more of a traditional noir hitman movie.
As you hear, like, John Woo and Tarantino, or, well, I can see Tarantino, like, really, like, praising this movie, like, this is influential. So I read that, like, apparently Fallen Angels by Wong Kar-wai, which we've done before, has to take some elements as well.
I mean, Lupin the Third. And for me, there's still points in it that remind me of Golgo 13, but I know it's not it's not really listed as an influence. But, like, there's so many points where it reminds me of it. Yeah. And it's such a wild ride. It's so enjoyable, and I think that's the highest praise you can give. Like, we've done this a lot. And there's movies that are incredible.
This is the 224th episode, I think, of Criterion Connection.
We've done a lot of these, and then we've watched a lot of movies outside of the ones from the channel.
I don't think we've done many Japanese noir films.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is we've done this a lot, and there's movies that just don't jive with us. There's ones where it doesn't jive with us, but we respect the artistry. There's ones we like the artistry and then, like, kind of like the movie.
And there's Frownland.
And then there's movies that we do really like, and some of them that, this is just a really wild ride, just an enjoyable ride. Some of these movies, like, they can be great, but it's like a chore to sit through sometimes. This one was such an easy watch, and I can't say that enough. Like, if you're in for a little bit of wackiness and you don't mind, like, a little bit of weird, silly, tongue-in-cheek stuff, if you don't mind, like, just having these off-the-wall, strange characters, do yourself a favor, sit down and watch it.
But it's still grounded as a crime noir film.
Yeah,
it's still grounded, and it does the job as just a noir film, but adds extra flavoring and unknown.
Also, it commits to the bit.
Yeah,
like, it can be so silly at times, but it's not the characters going tongue in cheek. It's not, like, super off the wall. It's just, like, they're playing it straight. Yeah. And that sells that part of the silliness so much more. It's very Monty Python in that respect.
So would you recommend the film?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm going to recommend this all day long. I'm going to probably tell some people about it, and I'm going to be like, I don't care if you don't like Japanese movies. Just watch this and have a good time.
I'd also recommend it. I mean, that's we've sung the praises enough, I think. Just watch it. We don't want to spoil anything more. I don't want to talk more about this film. I just want you to watch it.
Yeah, and we should... there's got to be more Seijun Suzuki movies out there, and we should probably track them down. And
Yes. Yes.
There's going to be a new like Criterion Connection
And
favorite
also,
director.
I heard that that a lot of the production company was like, don't do it this way. And he's like, I'm going to do it this way. And you got to respect an artist doing that to his own films. Just like, I'm going to do it the way I want.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on Branded to Kill. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about this film. It's funny that the last episode we did was Dressed to Kill, and we're doing Branded to Kill, which was not on purpose at all. It was total coincidence. I promise. Let us know in the comment section below what other movies. We haven't done any Japanese noir films, really. Like straightforward ones. Let us know in the comment section below what we should do. I know High and Low is probably gets suggested a lot. Kurosawa probably is a lot. You know, if you have a favorite, post it down there. Or any other movies that we haven't done yet. Of the 220 whatever films we've done. Follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. And that's about it. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we'll see you later.